Like a torch passed from hand to hand, leadership has the power to ignite the flames of progress and inspire a new generation to shape a bright future. Welcome to Leadership Fundamentals. In today's fast-paced and ever-changing world, the importance of effective leadership cannot be overstated. Whether you're a team lead, a recently appointed head, or even a CEO with a decade-long experience, this video shall walk you through the fundamentals of leadership and assure you of your days at work and your life. Before we move to the fundamentals, I'd like to state one very obvious fact that leadership is a skill that can be developed and improved over time. It's not something you're born with, but by truly understanding the core fundamentals of leadership, you can work on developing those skills and become a better leader. Let me give you an example of leadership and help you understand how its impact has made me believe that with a proper understanding, one can pave leadership the right way. And you're absolutely right. If you're thinking about the presidency of Franklin D. Roosevelt during the Great Depression and World War II, when Roosevelt took office in 1933, the United States was amid the worst economic downturn in its history. Millions of people were unemployed, banks were failing, and businesses were closing. Roosevelt's response was a series of ambitious programs and policies known as the New Deal. This aimed to provide relief, recovery, and reform. Through the New Deal, Roosevelt established programs such as Civilian Conservation Corps, which put millions of young men to work on environmental projects, and the Works Progress Administration, which provided jobs for millions of unemployed Americans. He also signed legislation creating Social Security, which remains a cornerstone of America's social safety net today. During World War II, Roosevelt led the United States through one of the most challenging periods in its history. He worked closely with Allied leaders like Winston Churchill and Joseph Stalin to develop a strategy for defeating Nazi Germany and Imperial Japan. Under his leadership, the United States mobilized its economy and military to fight and win the war. Roosevelt's leadership during the Great Depression and World War II profoundly impacted the United States and the world. He helped to restore the American economy and provided a blueprint for modern social welfare programs. He also played a key role in defeating fascism and establishing the United States as a superpower on a global stage. Now that you know that leadership can transform generations, let's dive deeper into the principles of leadership that can help you lead more effectively. The first fundamental of leadership is to have a clear vision and purpose. A great leader should know what is the vision and where we want to take the organization or the team, and a clear purpose that guides the decision making. The vision and the purpose should be communicated to the team, inspiring them to work towards a common goal. Who doesn't know and is inspired by Steve Jobs? Wow, what a great leader. I'm a fanboy. Jobs had a clear vision of creating beautifully designed, easy to use products that would change people's lives. He believed that technology could empower individuals, and he was passionate about pushing the boundaries of what was possible. The vision was reflected in everything Apple created, from Macintosh computer to the iPod to iPhone and the iPad. He was not just focused on creating great products, but a higher purpose also drove him. He believed that Apple's mission was to make a positive impact on the world, and he often spoke about the desire to create products that would improve people's lives. Under Jobs' leadership, Apple became one of the world's most successful and innovative companies. He inspired and motivated his team to share the vision and purpose, and together they created products that changed how we communicate, work, and play. Now let's move on to the second fundamental, that is communication. The second fundamental of leadership is effective communication. Communication is the key to building strong relationships and keeping your team aligned. A good leader should be able to communicate their vision and purpose clearly and concisely, while also actively listening to the team's feedback and ideas. The one leader who demonstrated excellent communication skills was Martin Luther King Jr. King was an inspirational speaker with a clear vision and a powerful message. He used his words to inspire and motivate people and take action toward social justice and equality. His speeches, such as I Have a Dream and Letter from Birmingham Jail, conveyed his vision for a better world and connected his audience. King's communication style was inclusive and respectful. Now that you know the first two fundamentals, let's move on to the third most important fundamental. And it is, you want to guess? Well, if you haven't already, it's accountability. Great leaders hold themselves and their teams accountable for their actions and decisions. This means taking responsibility for successes and failures and creating a culture where accountability is valued and encouraged. An excellent example of accountability in leadership is the response of Satyanadella, the CEO of Microsoft, to a controversial statement made by one of his employees. In 2014, Nadella was asked for advice for women uncomfortable asking for a raise during an interview at a conference. Nadella responded, "It's not really about asking for the raise, but knowing and having faith that the system will actually give you the right raises as you go along." This statement was met with criticism and outrage as it was seen as promoting a culture of silence and passivity around pay inequality. In response, Nadella issued an apology and took accountability for his words. He sent a memo to all Microsoft employees writing, "I answered that question completely wrong. Men and women should get equal pay for equal work. If you think you deserve a raise, you should just ask." Nadella's response demonstrated accountability in leadership. He acknowledged that he was wrong and took ownership of his mistake. He then rectified the situation by clarifying his stance on pay equality and supporting his employees' advice. This not only demonstrated his commitment to creating a more inclusive workspace, but also helped to rebuild trust. Let's stay focused and move on to the next fundamental. The fourth fundamental of leadership is adaptability. Great leaders need to be able to adapt to changing circumstances and navigate through difficult situations. This means flexible, open-minded, and willing to change course if necessary. An example of adaptability by leadership can be seen in how many companies responded to COVID-19 pandemic. As the pandemic swept the world, businesses were forced to adapt to a rapidly changing environment, including lockdowns, social distancing, and remote work. Leaders who could navigate these changes successfully could quickly assess the situation, make tough decisions, and communicate effectively with their employees and customers. They were able to be agile, flexible, and open to new ideas and ways of working. This adaptability by leadership helped their businesses survive the pandemic, but it also helped build trust and loyalty among employees and customers who appreciated how their leaders handled the crisis. The fifth and final fundamental of leadership is empowerment. As rightly said by Bill Gates, as we look ahead into the next century, leaders will be those who empower others. A great leader should empower their team to take ownership of their work, making decisions, and take risks. This means creating an environment where team members feel supported and trusted and are given the tools and resources they need to succeed. Thank you for watching our video on 5 fundamentals of leadership. By incorporating these principles into leadership style, you can build stronger relationships with your team, achieve better outcomes, and ultimately become a more effective leader. Remember to stay true to your vision and purpose, communicate effectively, hold yourself and your team accountable, remain adaptable, and empower your team to take ownership of their work. Until next time, goodbye.